Hi everybody, Miss Megan here with another nonfiction knockout episode. Today is all about weather. Be sure to check out Miss Sarah's awesome weather experiment video that will be up today as well. And we're going to start off with a few amazing facts about weather. And this comes from the book Totally Amazing Facts About Weather by Jacqueline J. Cox. And I'm just going to read a couple here for you to see if you knew this. Did you know that waves from a tsunami can travel 450 miles per hour? That's crazy. Did you know a 1979 tropical cyclone called Typhoon Tip was the largest storm ever on Earth, and it was almost half the size of the United States? And finally, a huge hurricane on Jupiter is larger than Earth. Pretty crazy. All right, so our first book that we're going to read today is called Rainbows Never End and Other Fun Facts, and this is by Laura Lynn DeSiena and Hannah Elliott with illustrations by Pete Oswald. And we have a whole collection of these books with different topics in them at the library, so when we're back up and running, be sure to check them out. All right, have you ever seen a rainbow? It was probably raining or it just stopped raining, right? Did you know that rainbows appear when sunlight hits drops of water at just the right angle? How about that no two people see the same rainbow? I did not know that. And that all rainbows are made up of 7 colors. Do you know what the colors are? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Okay, so you did know these things probably, but did you know that rainbows never end? That's right, rainbows never end. Although rainbows appear to be arcs, they're actually full circles. The reason we usually only see an arc is because the horizon of the Earth blocks us from seeing the rest. The only way you'd be able to see the full circle of a rainbow is if you were up in the sky looking down onto it. And because rainbows are circles, that means they don't have an end point. They just keep going around and around and around and around, and well, you get the point. So now you know that the sun helps to create rainbows and that rainbows never end. But did you know that the sun is a star? At the center of our solar system, it's the star closest to Earth, but it's still about 92,960,000 miles away, and it takes around 8 minutes for the sun's light to travel that distance and reach Earth. Not only does the sun give off its own light, it also gives light to the moon. The moon reflects this light from the sun, and that's why the moon glows. Snow is also a big reflector of sunlight. For this reason, it's important to wear sunscreen even in the wintertime. I did not know that. Snow is created when the temperature drops below freezing and crystals form in the clouds. The crystals fall through the clouds, bumping into one another along the way, creating unique and complex snowflake designs. All snowflakes have 6 sides, but we all know that no 2 snowflakes are alike. Snowflakes usually fall pretty slowly from the sky, at just about 3 miles per hour. Raindrops, on the other hand, fall much faster, about 18 miles an hour. And raindrops are not actually teardrop shaped like they're often depicted. They are round. Did you know that you can predict rain by looking at a pine cone? That's right. A pine cone's scales will close if rain is on the way. Okay, we totally have to do that. We've got to look for some pine cones the next time there's supposed to be rain and see if that's true. And did you know that rain is recycled water? It's water from Earth's lakes, rivers, oceans, and seas that is evaporated up into the clouds. That evaporated water then falls from the clouds in different forms of precipitation, such as rain and snow. New clouds are constantly forming, and it can take anywhere from a few minutes to 1 hour for a cloud to form. They can grow vertically or horizontally, and they can also be different shapes. Have you ever seen funny shapes in the clouds? A cumulonimbus cloud forms close to the ground and can grow vertically to be 5 miles high or more. Whoa. This is the type of cloud that forms during thunderstorms. Did you know that about 1,800 thunderstorms occur on Earth every single day? Whoa. That's a lot of thunder. Something else that often occurs during thunderstorms is lightning. In fact, thunder is actually the sound caused by lightning. Lightning is a powerful burst of electricity that happens very quickly during a storm. Lightning heats up the air around it to as much as 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Guys, did you know this stuff? I am learning stuff I had no idea. This book is awesome. Thunderstorms sometimes turn into tornadoes. A tornado is a spinning windstorm that creates a tunnel of air that touches both the ground and a cloud. Extreme tornadoes can reach wind speeds of more than 300 miles per hour, but a tornado typically only lasts a few minutes, and that is not long at all. I bet it feels like it if you're in a tornado. Have you ever heard of the summer solstice? In the Northern Hemisphere, it usually occurs on June 21st each year because that's when the Northern Hemisphere is most tilted toward the sun. During the summer solstice, there are 24 hours of sunlight at the North Pole and 24 hours of darkness at the South Pole. What is the North Pole anyway? A pole in the middle of the snow? A bunch of igloos? A place for penguins to hang out? Well, the North Pole isn't a piece of land. It's actually a floating sheet of ice in a place called the Arctic Circle. In the winter, the ice grows to be as big as the United States. In the summer, the ice melts to about half that size. Speaking of ice in the Arctic, did you know that flowers can be found in the middle of the Arctic Ocean? They're called frost flowers. Frost flowers form when the air above the ice becomes saturated with moisture. The frost flowers grow as they pick up salt and marine bacteria in the air, forming flower-like structures. Another thing I didn't know. The South Pole is a sheet of ice as well, but it's on land that's also known as Antarctica. Even though Antarctica is incredibly cold, it's actually a desert. That's because deserts are places that get fewer than 10 inches of rainfall all year. Can you imagine? That's only about 2 tall glasses of water. Usually, though, deserts are pretty hot, and as you might guess, the hottest place on Earth is a desert. It's called Death Valley in California, where the highest temperature ever recorded was, are you ready? 134 degrees Fahrenheit. I wouldn't make it, guys. I wouldn't make it. Miss Megan does not like the heat, and that is hot. Another cool thing about Death Valley is that the rocks there can fly. What? Scientists still haven't figured out how, but in Death Valley, boulders that weigh up to 700 pounds will sometimes go sliding across flat land, leaving trails behind them. A rock will move anywhere from a few inches to nearly 3,000 feet. That is crazy business. Deserts are the driest parts of the planet. Rainforests, on the other hand, are areas near the equator that are very humid and warm. There, rain falls more than 90 days a year. That's 3 months of straight rain if you put it all together. Rainforests have some of the most interesting wildlife. There's butterflies, jaguars, snakes, and plenty of fruits and plants too. A lot of the food we eat originally came from a rainforest. Think about it. Chocolate, potatoes, bananas, corn, all that stuff comes from there. You can probably guess by now that with all that rain, there are plenty of rainbows in a rainforest, but you might not have heard of a very rare rainbow that can only be seen by the light of a full moon. And it's called a moonbow. What? The Victoria Falls Rainforest is one of the few places on Earth where a moonbow can be seen regularly. Okay, we got to get to Victoria Falls because that is so cool. Rainbows and moonbows aren't the only things that make beautiful colors in the sky. An aurora is a display of colored lights that ripple, glow, and swirl across the night sky. An aurora occurs when millions of tiny particles fly from the sun into space at supersonic speed. Those particles are powered by solar wind, a type of wind that occurs only in space. You see, just like on here on Earth, there's wind out there in the universe. And just like the rainbows, the universe never ends. Okay, that book was awesome. I've never read it before, but I'm going to read all the books in that series because that was super cool. Okay, you ready for a couple more fun facts about weather? Okay. In the 1700s, people fired cannons into clouds to try to prevent hail. Do you think it worked? Hailstones zing around inside a thunderstorm like bouncy balls until they're heavy enough to fall. The largest hailstones on record weighed 2 pounds. They fell in Bangladesh and they killed 92 people. What? Kericho, Kenya holds the record for the most hail. It once saw 132 days of hail in 1 year. Wow, that is banana pants. Now, I have another book, and this one's all about hail. And this is Belle the Weather Girl series. And this is called Raindrops on a Roller Coaster by Belinda Jensen with illustrations by Renee Carilla. All right, let's see what Belle the Weather Girl has to tell us. All right. Belle felt a drop on her cheek. She glanced up. Dark clouds blocked the sun, and lightning zigzagged in the distance. Belle wasn't afraid, but she knew she'd better be safer in the house. It looks like a storm is coming, she said to her cousin Dylan. We better head inside. Dylan ran for the door with Belle's dog Stormy, and Belle followed. Tall, heavy clouds called cumulonimbus become thunderstorms. These clouds are filled with rain, and that's what makes them a dark color. Thunder rumbled and rain pattered against the windows, and Belle looked for Dylan and Stormy, and then she spotted Stormy's tail. Belle ducked down next to Dylan. I know you're afraid of storms, she said, but remember, Mom is a meteorologist. She knows what to do to stay safe, even if we aren't under the table. We know that a meteorologist predicts the weather, right? All right. Does anybody out there have a dog who's scared of storms? My dogs are scared of storms. Something began banging on the roof. Uh-oh, Stormy, I think we should stay under here, said Dylan, at least until the house stops falling down. Oh, my. Dylan, look, you don't want to miss this, Belle pointed outside. Small ice balls bounced into the yard. They pinged off the swing set. The house isn't falling, hail is. Hail sounds loud and scary, but hail-related injuries aren't common. People are usually safe inside of a building. Ice in the middle of summer? Asked Dylan. They're called hailstones, said Belle. Hail sometimes falls during thunderstorms. I'll tell you all about it. Weather isn't so scary once you understand it. Hailstorms happen during warmer months, not in the winter. I think we just had hail not that long ago, didn't we? When it was warm outside. Storm clouds are full of rain and wind, Belle zoomed her arms up. Sometimes the wind carries raindrops to the tops of the clouds. It's cold up there, Belle added, so the raindrops get an icy jacket. They turn into tiny ice balls, and then they start to swirl around in the wind. The tops of tall storm clouds are usually made of ice. When the storm winds are strong, they carry raindrops up to this icy layer. Water freezes. Do you know what temperature water freezes at? 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Belle continued. The balls of ice keep swirling around inside the cloud, and then they get another icy jacket each time the wind makes them fly up again. Sometimes the ice balls stick together, and they make bigger, lumpier balls. So how do they end up down here? Asked Dylan. A bag of frozen peas sat on the counter, and Belle grabbed them. She circled them through the air, and then she dropped them to the floor. The ice balls get too heavy for the wind to keep them up. Then they fall to the ground, and that's hail. Most hailstones are small like those peas, but in storms with tons of wind, the hail swirls in the cloud a long time, and then you can get hail almost as big as a soccer ball. A record-breaking hailstone fell in South Dakota in 2010. It was 8 inches across and 18 inches around, but that is very rare, thank goodness. Belle's mom smiled at Dylan. The good news is hailstorms last just a few minutes, she pointed outside. See, the storm has been done for a while. Let's go out and take a closer look at some hailstones. Mom cut the biggest hailstone in half. It had rings inside like the rings of a tree trunk. Each ring is another ice jacket. Make sure a storm is completely passed before going on a hailstone hunt. Only adults should cut open hailstones, and they'll need a sharp knife. Okay, so now you know what to do. The next time there's a hailstone, wait till it's over and the sun comes out. Grab your super special grown-up, tell them to come with you, grab yourself a hailstone, and cut it open and dissect it and see how many icy jackets it has. Dylan kicked the soccer ball. That's why I call you Belle the Weather Girl. You know all about weather. So hail's just raindrops on an icy roller coaster. I guess I didn't have to take cover under the table. That is correct. They are. They're just like on a roller coaster. Okay. We're going to hear a few more facts about weather before we go. I've learned a lot today. Have you guys? Maybe you guys knew some of this stuff. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. Okay. How about A town in Maryland holds the record for the most rain in 1 minute. In 1956, 1.23 inches of rain fell there in just 60 seconds. Wow. A flash of lightning could power a 100-watt light bulb for 3 months. Jeez, oh man. And lightning can strike up to 15 miles away from where the storm is. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out Miss Sarah's video, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Knockout Nonfiction. Bye.